Well, hi there, and welcome to Prison Architect, version Alpha 20, which is the current version in May 2014. This is a really excellent little game that I've got from Steam, and the aim is to build your own prison, a fully working prison, and preferably one where there aren't any riots or guards being stabbed, or prisoners escaping. You can basically guess how my first game ended. It didn't go well, but hopefully I've learnt a bit more now, otherwise this is going to be a really short playthrough. So let's just get started and dive in with create a new prison. So I am going to create a medium-sized prison and leave all of these as they are. Fog of war just means that you can't see your prisoners if there isn't someone nearby, which I think's realistic. If you had continuous intake in, you'd continually be getting prisoners. That would end really badly. I should also mention that this is an alpha version, so it isn't all complete yet, but there aren't any major game crashing bugs in it or anything. It's just that there's a few features which, aren't completely installed and working yet. So it's still really fun to do. I really like games like this. I'm just going to pause it. Where you've got to build and maintain something. I find them really fun. So here is our prison, or at least where our prison will be. You can see there's a big road down the side where we get deliveries and where things go out. Preferably not prisoners. And we get to build in this area. You can see here's a truck arriving with a load of workers who will be building my prison for me. And you can see my first prisoners are going to arrive in 23 hours, so that's how long we've got to turn this into a basic working prison. Now the very first thing to do is to click up here on bank balance, and you can see there are grants. Now, you can build your prison however you like, but these do just sort of lead you through. The tutorial is really not very good at teaching you how to actually play the game. But this sort of leads you through with what you should be doing in what sort of order. So we start off with basic detention center. So you want to build a holding cell, which will hold your prisoners until you've built them individual cells. You need showers, yards, kitchens, canteens. Basically, I think they're trying to balance the game so there's two different ways of playing. You can sort of tend to all your prisoners' needs, make them happy, send them to classes so that they become reformed and don't reoffend. Or you can take the loads down with armed guards and sniffer dogs and keep them completely oppressed so they don't attack your guards. I think that's the way they're trying to balance the game. But basically, a happy prisoner is one that isn't trying to stab a guard, so you definitely want things like a kitchen, because a hungry prisoner is a very unhappy prisoner. So you just click on that, and you can see that you get a grant to actually build this. You can really quickly run out of money in this game. So, one of the most useful things in this game is actually this button. It's the planning tool. It lets you actually sort of design things without actually having to have them built. So we can start to think about what we want to do. Now, it's a good idea to sort of separate out your prisoners from your workers, separate them out into sort of prison wings, basically cell blocks. And what I am thinking is that I want to have prisoners down here at the bottom in a big cell block, some administration, some offices up here, and things like the kitchen in the middle, and the other fun buildings we're going to get round to, and then I can add more cell blocks around the side. And you can accept different categories of prisoners. We've got normal category here, so you can have high category, low category, where are they? High risk, normal risk, low risk. You can imagine how they act a bit differently. So how will we split it up? I'm thinking that we want probably a big cell block down the bottom, somewhere like this, which will hold all the cells and stuff. And this will also hold the shower near the cells, so the prisoners can just go into it. And as I said, in the middle, is that enough space? Yeah, that'll be enough. I want to leave a bit of room over here for things later. So I might actually shuffle it over a little bit. That's fine. Now, I'm going to have a little sort of path going through the middle, somewhere like that. And then over here I want to build a kitchen and a canteen to feed my prisoners, because feeding prisoners is a good idea, like I said. I'm just going to plan these out. I'm just sort of marking out where I want things to go. Just click and drag. And then up here I'm going to have administration stuff. So I really ought to show you what all these buttons do. We have a foundations button that lets us actually build the buildings, put the wall, the floor and the ceiling around things. That's done with this button. You've got the materials that lets you put in fancy floors. You can also build brick walls, so you can build walls around your prison and separate off rooms inside. You've got your rooms, which are basically all the different types of rooms you've got. You can see that some are blacked out. That's because, obviously, you need to research them. You've got various objects to put in rooms. You've got beds, toilets, pool tables, all stuff like that. You've got the various staff you can hire, cooks, wardens, guards, and more you can unlock. And the utilities. You need to provide electricity and water for things to work. So let's start off and get everything working. Now, what shall we start with? We need to build a holding cell to complete this, and that's really important, because in 23 hours we are going to get some prisoners in, and if we don't have anywhere to hold them, we will be in big trouble. So let's actually just define and build a 10 by 10, let's make it a bit bigger, 10 by 12. So we're going to build this room here. This is where the prisoners will live until they've got their own cells. This is where the guards will put them. You can see it requires an entrance. All the doors are under objects. I'm going to put a large jail door on this because there's going to be lots of prisoners in there. Now you can see that you get deliveries in trucks arriving as you're building things. Your workmen bring these things up and actually have to build everything. So we need them to build everything within this 23-hour time period. Otherwise they're all just going to escape. Now, talking of escape, obviously there is a big area where they can escape. There is this road. Now we could just sort of fence in this entire area. That would be a lot of work. My workers would spend about 6 days doing that and not build anything else. So we're going to need to be a little bit more clever. Also, of course, you need to actually get to this deliveries area because the workmen have to go back and forwards. And what you have are these different types of doors. You've got these jail doors, and they can only be opened by the security guards. The staff doors can be opened by the workmen, the cooks, and anyone who works here. And then you've got basic doors which even the prisoners can open, just to separate their rooms out. So you need to make this area sort of secure from the prisoners, but still accessible for all your workers. And really handily, there's a really good little thing. It's called the road gate. It just lets you put a gate across the road. So this can actually be inside your prison and still be fully locked down. These are so handy now. So if we just put one at the top and one at the bottom, I'm going to leave a bit of space at the bottom. They have to be built by a workman. You can see he's doing it right there. And if we wait just a second, while he does it with his little screwdriver, it's taking him absolutely ages to put in. And this one's going down the bottom. There it is. It's open at the minute because there's no prisoners in. So what we can do is just build a brick wall down this side here. down to this gate, and you can see how we're going to box in this entire area. I think that's about the best way to do it. You could just sort of box in a little area here, that would work too. I'm just going to build some little walls off, probably not that far actually, just down like this, just for now, because ultimately I'm going to want it to go all the way around the prison so the entire area is secure, but that's too much for once. And here we go, they've built this room. Now they are installing the lights at the minute, and you can see these little flashing light bulbs. That means there's no electricity. So let's start building a power station. A power station, which is this one. And where shall I build this? I want it a little bit out the way. So probably up here, say. Just like that. And I also want a water pump to pump water around soon. That can just go near it. Keep them both near each other. So let's set them to work. Let's build another foundation. This will be the canteen. And the kitchen. So I can build and drag over the entire thing, and then just put a wall in to separate the two afterwards. And I can expand this later when I've got more prisoners. It always requires a door, so I'm actually just going to put a ordinary door in the side here. Ordinary door. Click the middle mouse button to rotate it just in the side, because this is going to be the kitchen area, I think, and I want my cooks to be able to just run out the side like this, straight over to deliveries. I'm just trying to keep it nearby so it's quick. And that was the electricity going in. Now it doesn't immediately power anything, that is because we need to run cables. So we're going to run a cable over there, into the pump, and just one. Actually we'll run it down and into the canteen, I think. And into the cell. And actually I'm going to wait to run it until that room's built, because I think it sort of delays them a little bit. So how are we doing? We've got 19 hours left, and before the first of prisoners arrive, and it's sort of getting there, I think. We're getting there somewhere. Right, so how to secure all of this? Obviously the problem is that when I let my prisoners out of this holding cell to go to lunch, at the minute they're just going to make a run for it. Now there is one really handy thing, it's under materials, and it is not under materials. Yes, it is under materials. There is this one, fence. The interesting thing about fence is it doesn't actually cost anything to put in. I have no idea why. But I'm basically just going to run a bit of fence. I don't think I run it there. I think I'll run it there, give it a bit of room. This will be taken down one day, and we'll enclose the entire area in, but there just isn't enough time before the prisoners arrive. But if I run it into the back of the building there, then we're completely sort of secured on the top and on the right. The would just run out the bottom, but we'll sort that out in a bit. But I think that's okay. I think that will do me for now, thank you very much indeed. So let's actually build our first room. If we click on rooms, we want to make this a holding cell. Here's the holding cell. It's nicely highlighted because we are supposed to be building them. So it needs to be 5 by 5, that's plenty big enough. So just click and drag to fill this room up. So we've got this little exclamation mark, it tells you what's wrong. It needs a toilet in here and a bench. So objects, let's stick a toilet. Let's stick a couple of toilets on this side wall. And where's a bench? Here's a bench. That can go on the side as well. Now, and that one's done. Brilliant. Now, I'm actually going to be holding prisoners in here probably for a day or two because I'm not going to have this thing built in time. So what I need to do, they're going to want a place to sleep, otherwise they're going to be really unhappy, so I'm going to put a few beds in here. How many can I fit? 4, 5, 6, 8 beds. That'll just give them somewhere to sleep. They can sleep here, they can go to the loo over here. They're prisoners, they'll all just be in sight of each other. They'll have to live with it, I am afraid. Okay, so that is our first room. It will be ready when that is done. Let's have a quick look over here. So this will be the kitchen, this will be the canteen. I want to split them up with a brick wall. So let us build a wall through like that. And just have a nice little door separating the two. And I'm going to make this one on the left the canteen, and this one on the right the kitchen. Okay, we are getting somewhere. The fence is going in. This is all getting plumbed in now. So let's have a quick look on this south side. So these will actually be cells. I don't know how big I'm going to make the cell. The cells can be really, really small. Let's hop back into planning mode. I don't want to make them that small. I'm going to give my prisoners a little bit of room. Let's make them 4x2 or 4x3. Let's make them 4x2. We can have... It all gets a bit cramped, but that'll... I shall make them 4x3. Shall I be really nice to them? What do you think? They are prisoners. I can make it 3x3. Let me just check that's okay. How big does a cell need to be? It needs to be 2x3, so that is big enough. It needs to have a bed, it needs to have a toilet. Let's make them 3x3. So that'll be like that. Like that. Those will be the cells. We could... Where will the door go? We could just have a door coming in here. Just like that. What I'm thinking of doing, let's make a 2-wide corridor. And completely missize the room. So it's like that. So we can have cells coming off down here. Because what I'm thinking about is putting a shower in the middle. That'll be quite a big one actually. Something like that. Obviously this is all completely the wrong size. And another room there. Something like that maybe. So we're going to have a... Actually, yeah, we could have an entrance just coming in like that. And then more cells going off like this. I'm just trying to make it sort of symmetrical. Let's pause that for a second just while I design this. So that can just be one smaller like that. Be fairly small. Do I want to make it bigger? Yeah, probably do actually. Let's make a fairly big one. There's no point making it too small. So it would end up being a cross by one. That would be an entrance there. And then... You know, you want it big enough just to hold however many prisoners you're going to get, don't you? Oh dear. There we go, a 3x3 cells. Make them all 3x3 going down here. And that'll give us a massive area in the middle actually. That is massively big, so we could actually probably put some cells up here as well. Oh, I want to make this all nice and symmetrical, and it's not working at all. So how's that? Oh, I can't make it symmetrical with that. That is going to be so annoying. Yeah, but then those are just going to be more cells, aren't they? I could do it like that and just have a path down the middle. But you know, that could be a... Ah, to heck with it. That's going to be a shower. That's going to be a common room is what I'm thinking. With a path just going straight down the middle. Oh, it's just not going to be big enough. Let's just do that. Make two nice big ones. That'll make me happy. Ish. It'll do. Put time back on. Right. Okay, so we have a kitchen. What does the kitchen need? It needs a cooker, a fridge and a sink. So let's get to work on some of those. Where are they? They must be in here somewhere. Here's a sink. So, put a sink over here. A couple of sinks. Fridges. Let's have fridges going... This is quite big actually, isn't it? Some fridges just going down the side here maybe? 3 fridges. And some cookers. We can just put cookers just in the middle? Yeah, something like that. That'll work. Now I should show you over here on the power station you have this little red bar going up the side. It shows you your power usage. You don't want to overload the station because the electricity will cut out. And you can imagine that would be really, really, really bad if you did it when there were prisoners in. The way you upgrade your power are through capacitors, so I'm going to quickly stick a few capacitors in before I completely overload things. Okay, so we are getting somewhere. We need to run the electricity cable, or the electrical cable, through into here. And these things actually need connecting directly to electricity. And these need connecting to the water supply, as does this. So the water supply, you've got 2 types of pipe. You've got large pipes, and you've got small pipes. And the reason is, the large pipes are big enough for prisoners to actually crawl through. So that would be really bad. So you sort of just run the big pipes near things, and then actually connect things up with the small pipes to anything the prisoners are going to touch. But here we go, look, we've got a holding cell, and we've got a kitchen, and I think that was... Oh no, that's everything working. I thought it was. It's blowing out. Okay, so how long have we got? 13 hours. We're about halfway through, and I think we're doing pretty well. We've got the kitchen, the canteen. We need to put something on the canteen. We need a door. So let's start. I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put a large jail door on the canteen as well for the prisoners to go through. These jail doors you can just lock down if at any point there's trouble. What does a canteen need? It needs a serving table, tables and benches. So here's tables. I can probably put them in just like there. So a bench there, a space, a bench, a table, a bench, a space, a bench, a table. That's actually going to work out really neatly. Oh, that's wonderful. I love it when it actually works out like that. So that's where they're going to sit and eat. We want serving tables where the food will actually be served. We could just... Oh, that's going to look horrible however I do it. It's not worked well after all. Okay, if I just put a serving table like there, ultimately I can have one there. I don't want these here anymore. Go away. Because I can expand this to the left afterwards. So I want my tables to be more... just a bit closer. So bench, space, bench, table, bench, space, bench, table. Move them all down by one. Then they're just nearer to these serving tables basically. So there we go, that's better. Then I can expand it off that way and up later if I need to. So we are definitely getting somewhere. We have a kitchen, we have a canteen, we have a holding cell, and we're just about halfway to our first prisoners arriving. So I think we're doing pretty well. We're secure on our north and our side. I'm going to hopefully in the next half hour, in the next half of the day I should say, build across here and build this cell block in. But I think we've just about reached the wrapping up point for this first video. So this is Prison Architect. I do hope that you are enjoying it. In the next episode I shall continue on building up, and hopefully we should just about be in time for our first prisoners to arrive, and then the fun will really start. So thank you very much for watching this episode, guys, and I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will join me again next time.